This is a Thor News presentation.
Thor News presents hundreds of asteroids and comets inbound to the inner solar system. Or at least that's what the data makes it sound like. We got 20 more asteroids on the path of the asteroid that exploded over Russia. And we got thousands of comets, hundreds of comets in the asteroid belt that have woken up for no explainable reason. I don't know how else you want to break down that data, bro. Now, before we get into the thick of the matter, I want to let you know, represent to you, confess, I've reached my doom peak. So even if a subject is doomy at the moment, I'm going to sugarcoat it as much as I can. All right? On that note, awesome. I love comets. I love asteroids. It looks like we got a whole crap ton headed our way. Yeehaw! Alright, this is from over at the Los Angeles Times from Amina Khan. Colombian scientists have discovered what may be a graveyard of comets in a very strange spot. And now some of the interred are coming back to life. These so-called Lazarus comets, described in the monthly notices of Royal Astronomical Society, they represent a long-lost population of the icy space travelers and may alter scientists' understanding of their origins. So we've got a long-lost population of comets that may be so radical, scientists are forced to change their definition of comets as they know them. Okay, that's interesting. It's very, very interesting. Something to think about, definitely. It'd be fun to date a comet for a little while. Wait, if the sun is dating all these comets, that means the sun is the biggest polygamist out there. These chunks of ice and rock, typically a few kilometers across, have long held imaginations as falling stars. As a comet travels around the sun, the heat and light vaporize some of the water ice trapped inside, causing the signature tail of glowing gas and dust to form behind it. And the nucleus said, "Get behind me, tail! Get behind me, coma!" I wonder if that joke worked. They're thought to have started out near the fringes of the planetary system, with stretched elliptical orbits that are so extreme that some of the comets circle the sun only once in several thousand years. Extreme! 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 Man, I want a Mountain Dew. Others have quicker round trips of a couple centuries or so. These so-called short-period comets are the source of such famous sightings as Halley's Comet. I met a girl named Haley once. She was very pretty. She was like pink gold. But in recent years, astronomers started to pick up strange comet-like bodies popping up where they hadn't expected them. In the main belt, the wide ring of asteroids that sits between Mars and Jupiter. Alright, so in recent years, astronomers started to pick up, see, like dating. Now astronomers are trying to date comets. See who's onto something. They were popping up where they hadn't expected them. Well, that's very interesting. The imagination wanders and builds. Asteroidal. The surprising property of these objects is that their orbits are entirely asteroidal, while their behavior is entirely cometary. The researchers wrote, well, in science's definition, I guess, asteroids are rocks that just kind of sit there like a lump on a log. And comets are like dirty, flaming, flying snowballs that zip around the sun and get really bright like they were dragonfire. Dragonfire is a Thor News theory, not a official science description. That's surprising because comets aren't supposed to be there, right in the middle of the planetary lineup. The main belt is filled with rocky debris from several feet to hundreds of miles long. Hundreds of miles long. Hundreds of miles long. That's what she said. These asteroids could have been building blocks of another planet. Had Jupiter's gravity not kept the fragments apart. See, we got torn lovers here. There's an entire romantic dating and courtship chivalry theme going on, and I love it. What were comets thought to originate on the fringes of our solar neighborhood doing there? What were comets thought to originate on the fringes of our solar neighborhood doing there, in the middle of our solar system? Technically, at the exact spot, we define the inner and outer solar system. Kind of like the state line, if you would, of the planets in the inner and outer solar system. Like going across the tracks. I don't know if you kids remember that phrase. They're like, oh, he's from the other side of the track. Back in the day when railroads meant more. Anywho. Alright, so we found a shit ton of asteroids. Some are hundreds of miles wide. In the middle of a place we didn't expect them. And so they may go from asteroids to comets, or they might just get up and move, get up and move, get up and move. Man, I sure am curious about Jupiter. Jupiter is fascinating. Fascinating. Alright, so I'm thinking maybe we really don't know a whole lot about comets, dude. Whereas we might have done a great job in the last 20 years. A great job compared to what, really? According to the researchers from the University of Antioquia in Colombia, there may have been a sizable population of comets in the main belt in the past that had long since, quote, died, unquote, comma. Their icy reserves nearly expended by heat and light from the sun. Alright, so the thing that makes them go was empty on its fuel tank, and somehow their fuel tank got refilled? Oh! Some of these comets, however, were mainly dormant, the researchers found, and if their orbits were nudged just slightly closer to the sun's warming rays, it could release ice trapped deep within the comets, bringing them back to life. Deep within the comets, bringing them back to life. Thus we propose that the asteroid belt contains an enormous graveyard of ancient, dormant, and extinct rocky comets that turn on, are rejuvenated in response to a diminution. In response to a diminution of their perihelion distance caused by planetary perturbations. A dozen such Lazarus comets were picked up among the asteroids over the past decade. And it's quite possible there are many more out there. Alright, we propose that an asteroidal belt contains an enormous graveyard of ancient, dormant, and extinct rocky comets that turn on in response to something. I'm going to go ahead and say they don't understand everything. So they are trying to find an explanation that works with their previous definition of what comets are, what they're made of, how they come to life, their relationship with the sun, the inner solar system, planets, planet formation, galaxies, the blanket of gravity, time, space, light, dimensions. So what we got here is a graveyard of comets coming back to life. Alright, so with the news of the Lazarus comets and the news of the 20 or more asteroids that are on the same path as the asteroid that hit us the day of DA-14, which I will get into in way more depth in the next part of this series, because I guess this is a series now, so I will cover that. And then in the third part, we will talk about what might be disrupting all the comets or the asteroids. Red dwarf, Planet X, sun heating up, absolutely nothing, my charm and magnetism. We don't know, but we will look into it. Yeah, comets are waking up. That's interesting, eh? And I want to remind you, all I do is give you the facts, and then I discuss it using imagination, speculation, and a little bit of whoop-de-doo. So, don't blame me, man. This data was all given to me, and then I give the data to you, and then we talk about it. That's how it works. I like it. You like it? That's good. I like our relationship. Now give me a kiss, sugar. Okay? Thanks for hanging around. Thank you. God bless everybody. Now let's all have a good day. And I'll try and get the second part out sometime this week. Crazy times, party people. And that's all I have to say about that. My get up and go just got up and went. Hundreds of miles long. Hundreds of miles long. That turn on, that's what she said. She's like pink gold.